urine will become concentrated. Right? Your urine will become concentrated. Okay. Terrestrial adaptation. See the reason for us to move from amono to urea. मैंने कहा सबसे important क्या factor है? Habitat. Terrestrial adaptation made it necessary the production of lesser toxic nitrogenous waste like urea and uric acid. So is toxicity का order understood here, please? For the purpose of conservation of water. Obviously, availability of water is now becoming less. Mammals, many terrestrial amphibians. यहाँ पे क्या था? Aquatic amphibians. यहाँ पे है terrestrial amphibians. And marine fishes. Marine found in larger water bodies, sea, ocean. The smaller water bodies like lake, pond, stream, those are fresh water. Mainly excrete urea. Now, when you have fishes, you start first thinking of ammonotelism. But यहाँ पे marine fishes है, they are in sea, so there is already a lot of salt in the water. So they have to maintain their osmolarity. तो उनको body में कुछ तो ऐसा salt-like substance तो urea use करते हैं वो लोग अपने osmolarity को maintain करने के लिए. That's why marine animals will go for ureotelism. I told you it's all about habitat. It's all about habitat. Ammonia produced by metabolism is converted into urea in the liver. By which process? Ornithine cycle. Okay. Released into the blood, which is filtered and excreted out by the kidneys. Now, a small mistake which is made by students here is whenever you see the word urea in the paper, right now, the image that starts dancing in front of our eyes is kidneys. Urea, kidney, right? They forget the process fact, अरे बाबा, urea is manufactured in the liver. So our excretory product is made in the liver, but excreted by the kidneys. तो अपने इसके अंदर process में two organs are involved, liver and kidneys, right? So those who are consuming high amount of protein, excess protein store नहीं होता है. अगर किसी का प्रोटीन कंजम्पशन हाई है तो क्या उसका यूरिया प्रोडक्शन भी हाई रहेगा? और अगर प्रोटीन का कंजम्पशन बहुत ही हाई है तो लोड कौन से दो ऑर्गन्स पे आएगा? यस, किडनी पे और लिवर पे. गेट दैट प्लीज? सो योर किडनीज एंड लिवर विल हैव टू वर्क एक्सेसिवली टू डिस्पोज दैट एक्स्ट्रा प्रोटीन नाउ. Right? So, do you have those people who use those protein shakes and whey protein? Only those who are gymming. Only those who do workouts. Without a workout, you can't consume. That is, you are loading your body with excess protein. उससे body वोडी बनने वाली नहीं है. Instead, you will harm your liver and kidneys because उनको excess काम करना पड़ेगा बेचारे लोग को. Right? और आपको फायदा होगा नहीं और फुकट में 4-5 हजार का वेस्ट भी हो जाएगा. Right? Those things are very expensive यार. ठीक है? ओके. Now one small point. Yes. यहाँ पे लिखा है they are released into blood. Right? तो एक छोटा पॉइंट है, please pay attention. Liver okay. Now, the liver will receive blood by means of the hepatic artery. The blood is always received through artery, right? The blood will move away through vein. So that is going to be the hepatic vein. The hepatic vein will join the IVC, inferior vena cava, and the inferior vena cava ultimately will go and deposit all the blood in the heart. Now the heart will transport blood to the lungs. Lungs में oxygenation होगा. Oxygenated blood will come back to the heart. Basic circulation तो आता है अपने को, ठीक है ना? Now we always say, what kind of blood is coming from? So it is pure blood. It is pure in terms of oxygen, not urea. मतलब जो लिवर में यूरिया बना है, क्या लिखा है? It is excreted in blood. It is passed to the blood now. So will this blood be carrying urea now? So tell me, won't hepatic vein be the vessel which is carrying the highest amount of urea now?
Yes.
We have to derive a small point from this blood alone. So if it is carried by blood, blood is carried by vessel. So which is the vessel which will carry maximum amount of urea? The hepatic vein. Because urea immediately यहीं बन रहा है. So whatever urea is manufactured is dumped into the hepatic vein. Okay. Now, once it reaches the heart supplies blood by means of aorta. Aorta is the largest artery of our body. And one of the branches of aorta is renal artery. Will this blood be brought to the kidney by renal artery?
Yes.
That means urea is now reaching the kidney. What is happening inside the kidney is filtration. And the blood is drained by means of renal vein. So 50% urea यहाँ पे filter हो गया. So will renal vein be the vessel which is having the minimum amount of urea? So please make a note of this. The vessel with the highest amount and vessel with the lowest amount.
So,
जी
won't the concentration be the same? Because बाहर से मेरा आने का and मेरा बाहर जाने
बता रहा हूँ. यूरिया थोड़ा सा soluble है वाटर में. तो by the time it reaches from hepatic vein तो थोड़ा सा वाटर के साथ escape हो जाएगा. तो उसकी अमाउंट थोड़ी सी डिक्रीज हो जाएगी. Minimum. Tell me. Minimum.
So the urea will dissipate throughout the entire blood.
Yes. Yes, is the point clear? Maximum, minimum, please, everybody. Okay. हाँ तो ब्लड तो वेसल के अंदर है ना. Come to it. Don't worry. Yes. I didn't understand the question. Quiet! If you have a doubt, ask. Otherwise, shut up. I mentioned I have only one problem with this batch. Discipline. Go on.
In the kidneys, the water content will also reduce after blood. Then urea will decrease, then water also decreases.
We're talking only in terms of urea now.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the last point. Which is the last one? Uricoterism. So, reptiles, birds, land snails, insect. अब habitat क्या है? Dry terrestrial. तो यहाँ पर habitat क्या था? Aquatic. यहाँ पे क्या था? Terrestrial. यहाँ पे dry terrestrial. They will excrete nitrogenous waste as uric acid. That means urea is further processed to become uric acid. Right? The pathway is ionosonic pathway. Not really required for you to know. Again, it is done by the liver only. So please understand the importance of liver. So uric acid हमारे बॉडी में भी बनता है. ऐसा नहीं सिर्फ यूरिया ही बनता है. We have creatine, we have creatinine, we have hippuric acid, we have trimethyl acidic oxalate, TMAO करके आता है. We have lot of excretory substances. Most prominent of that is urea. Yes, you should know that when uric acid is excessive in our body, it starts collecting in the joints. Grout. Okay. ठीक है? Ionosonic pathway, not important, don't worry. So yes, please, is this table clear, please? You just try to take some points from the NCERT and make the table, please. So will this be helpful in learning all the points which have been mentioned here, please? Okay? Yes, sir.
If uric acid is so like better to excrete than urea, then why not excrete uric acid?
It is in the form of pele or paste with minimum loss of water. I told you it was all because of habitat. It is not because of better or less. What your habitat demands from you.
How does urea get converted to uric acid?
Inosonic pathway.
In the
In humans also, we have a process, right? The excretory process is there.
But why do we need it to?
No, these are all side products by all these small metabolic processes. Ornithine hai, inosonic hai. These are all. Did we learn a thing called as metabolic pathway?
Yes.
So these are all metabolic pathways.
So he said that now we also have 10 habitat as left side.
No, we don't have dry terrestrial. We have terrestrial.
Acha.
Okay, look at birds. Birds are aerial. Right ना? ये देखो reptiles का birds है. Birds are aerial. पानी का ऑलरेडी और कम हो गया वहाँ पर. ठीक है? So ammonotelic, ureotelic, uricotelic. See, for your convenience, I have just boxed all three of them. So you can study three of them separately. You can make a table, or you can go however you want it to be. Now, the next part of the introduction is telling us what are the different excretory structures in different types of animals. Right? Ultimately, we have to do kidney, human excretory system. But what are the lower organisms? Right? Now, to understand this, a small bit you should be knowing about animals. छोटा सा. And definitely animal kingdom school में थोड़ा बहुत तो पढ़ा ही होगा. Quiet please. Animals are classified as chordates and non-chordates.
So it's going to be a big table over.
Don't have to write, don't worry. ठीक है? Now animals में, see, animal is kingdom animalia. The level is kingdom. Kingdom के नीचे level आता है phylum. So when you start with phylum Porifera, sponge. Then you go to phylum Coelenterata, hydra. Then you come to Platyhelminthes, flatworms. Aschelminthes, roundworms. उसके बाद आएगा तुम्हारा, और इतना बोल रहे हो ना तुम लोग तो, राइट? Platyhelminthes हो गया, Aschelminthes हो गया, Annelida, earthworm, Arthropoda, cockroach, mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata. I know some of the faces are looking very blank here. हाँ एकदम जरा भी एकदम, right? Sir हमको तो कुछ स्कूल में हुआ, ठीक है? So no worries, we have an entire chapter dedicated to this table. पूरा एक chapter है, and one of the most devilish chapter of the entire syllabus. ठीक है? Now, see, these are all lower organisms. When we start from Porifera and move towards phylum Hemichordata, half chordate. So gradually the complexity of the animal increases. They start becoming more and more complex. तो उनके organs की complexity भी बढ़ते जाएगी. And the last phylum is phylum Chordata. Right? Phylum Chordata has three subphyla: Urochordata, Cephalochordata, and Vertebrata. So under Vertebrata we will reach class Mammalia. ठीक है ना? So now, in most of the invertebrates, the structures are simple tubular form, while the vertebrates will have complex tubular organs called kidneys. In Platyhelminthes, flatworms, we've got structures called protonephridia. Proto means first part, right now. Protonephridia, or these are also called flame cells. There is a third name for them, solenocytes. Solanocytes are also called protonephridia, also called as flame cells. They are the excretory structures in flatworms. In some rotifers, again they are types of platyhelminthes. Some annelids, some of the annelids and cephalochordate, मैंने bold mark किया इसको. If I am comparing platyhelminthes यहाँ पे कहीं तो आएगा, लेकिन evolution में cephalochordate बहुत आगे है. It's a chordata. So a higher animal in evolution having a primitive structure is odd. Cephalochordate is much higher in evolution as compared to platyhelminthes. Chordate है, notochord है, सब कुछ है उसके पास तो. That's why it's a very odd example. A cephalochordate should have a protonephridia. That's why it's marked in bold, yes please. These are all intricacies of evolution, which we don't understand. So protonephridia is the first structure, primarily concerned with ionic fluid volume, वही समझना, same osmoregulation. The second structure is nephridia. Nephridia is an excretory structure of earthworm and other annelids. देखो यहाँ पर भी annelids था, यहाँ पर भी annelids है. So annelids is phylum Annelida. That means the phylums are very big. So you have many organisms coming under the same phyla. So will the habitat also be different in different organisms? उनका excretory structure, उनकी complexity भी different हो. So you can have some of the primitive annelids having protonephridia, some of the good, better, advanced annelids having nephridia. Earthworm in particular will have nephridia. In fact, earthworm has 3 types of nephridia. Right? They are pharyngeal, integumentary, septal. 3 type के nephridia है earthworm के पास. Not required for us, please. Nephridia helps us to remove nitrogenous waste, maintain fluid and ionic balance. Basically talking about the same function. The third structure, yes please, go.
Protonephridia and nephridia both have same like function.
Function same है ना, excretory function.
And the are either like not the same thing.
But structure is different.
Structure is
Okay. The third structure is Malpighian tubule. Malpighian tubule is an excretory structure in most of the insect. Insect belongs to phylum Arthropoda. Insect belongs to phylum Arthropoda, including cockroaches. Now, arthropod is the largest phylum of Animalia. 2/3 of the animals are arthropods. And under arthropoda, the biggest group is insect. Right? Wait a minute, I'll just solve this for you. Phylum Arthropoda. उसके अंदर you have class Insecta and class Crustacea. Insecta में example is cockroach. Crustacea में you have example of prawns. ये देखो, antennal glands or green glands are performing excretory function in crustacean like prawn. So that means prawn and cockroach both belong to arthropoda. But what is different are their classes. So उनका excretory structure अलग है. So can we have 2 organisms belonging to the same phylum yet having different structure? Yes. Did we see that in Annelida also? Yes. Right? Annelids के अंदर also you can have protonephridia as well as nephridia. Arthropoda के अंदर you can have Malpighian tubules as well as green glands. Clear please? When we come to the topic of Animalia, we will be revisiting this part. We will come back to this part also. Right? Cross-referencing this with the chapter of Animalia is very very important. Because यहाँ का matter और Animalia वाला matter दोनों combine करके question आ सकता है. ठीक है ना? आगे did we come across a very general statement like bony fishes, marine fishes? We will do examples of the bony fishes and marine fishes in Animalia. तो वहां से example ले लेंगे और यहाँ से statement ले लेंगे. तो मरीन फिश का एक नाम लेंगे, you have to define whether it is ammonotelic, ureotelic or uricotelic. Isn't that? Yes, please.
Sir, could you say that to work for that trade cells is repetitive to bacteria?
Yeah. Proto is first part. Huh?
whole chapter of animal data written in this language only.
Yes, please.
So the malfeasance that is there in the humans also, right? And
Huh, yeah? I don't know.
oh yeah.
I think a thought before just opening your mouth would be much better. Bowman's capsule and glomerulus together is called as malphigian corpuscle. Yes, ma'am.
So what are those?
Again, some category of platyhelminthes.
Then all of these are simple uses.
Simple. Yes, so two parts you've done now. Right? Part number 1. What are the 3 excretory modes? Ammono, ureo, uricotelic. Second part, what are the different excretory structures? Now we come to the human excretory system. Now the human excretory system you have a pair of kidneys, a pair of ureters, a bladder and a urethra, please. यहाँ पे पैर नहीं है. We are not blessed with 2 bladders and 2 urethras. So 2 kidneys, 2 urethra, a single bladder and urethra. A single bladder. Okay, 2 ureters. I'm sorry. ठीक है. Now, when you learn any particular human system, the first and the most important thing in a human system is to define the position of that organ in the body. That where is it located? So first when you start studying something like heart has got 2 atrium. अरे नहीं भाई, उसके पहले किधर है? Right? It is present in the mediastinal cavity. It is present in the thorax. Right? It is covered on the 2 sides by lungs. So that is how you have to define it. Right? For example, somebody is asking you, by what is the address of this classes? Right? Now तुम बोलेंगे सर विले पार्ले ईस्ट में है, ढूंढो. अरे नहीं सर, स्टेशन से उतरेंगे ना सर, एक बहुत अच्छा रेस्टोरेंट है आरके, राइट, थोड़ा सा अंदर आएंगे सर, वहां पर एक HDFC बैंक है, उसके सामने सर जो है ना वो राम फ्रैंकी वाला अपने जो काम का है वैसे एड्रेस बताएगा ना, HDFC के ऊपर है, राइट. सो यू यूजिंग लैंडमार्क्स टू डिफाइन. So similarly, when you are trying to find the position of an organ, you use landmarks. What is dorsal to it? What is ventral to it? What is lateral situation? That is how you come to the position of the organ inside the body. So first thing is, let's define the position. Kidneys are reddish brown bean shaped structures situated. आ गया position देखो अभी. Situated between the levels of last thoracic and third lumbar. Last thoracic is T12 and L3. Right now, so the extent, upper extent is T12, lower extent is L3. Close to the dorsal inner wall of the abdominal cavity. Abdominal cavity is huge. How do we locate that now? When you're examining, this is the ventral view. You're looking at it ventrally. This should be dorsal and this should be lateral. So let us look at it laterally. So this would be the ventral, this would be the dorsal surface. Now let's say for example this is T12 and this is L3. Close to the dorsal wall. Is this the dorsal wall of the body? So your kidney is situated somewhere here, attached to the dorsal body wall, right? Kidney यहाँ पर पीछे, right? If you have a swelling in the the kidney or you're showing any kind of urinary symptoms, the doctor will have to examine you for any swelling of the kidney or something like that, right now? And if your doctor starts examining you here and says that बाबा किडनी में swelling है, तो उठ के दो लगा सर किडनी पीछे है, यहाँ नहीं है, okay? So anatomy also helps you for diagnosis. अगर किडनी का पोजीशन ही नहीं मालूम है, राइट ना, तो यहाँ पे स्टेथोस्कोप लगाएंगे, बोलेंगे सर हार्ट में प्रॉब्लम है, ओके, कुछ आवाज आ रहा है, अरे वो पेरिस्टाल्सिस का आवाज है, मैं खाना खाया रे, ओके, so where is the kidney situated? Between T12, L3 and close to the dorsal wall of the abdominal cavity. One more point. And पोजीशन डिफाइन करने के लिए सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, राइट? एवरीबडी ऑल इयर्स टू दिस प्लीज. सी T12 is your last thoracic. Does that mean the 12th rib?
Yes.
12th rib means the end of the thoracic cavity. आपका thorax खत्म हो गया वहां पर. thorax खत्म हो मतलब which cavity starting? Abdominal cavity. दोनों के बीच में diaphragm, right? So T12 is where your thoracic cavities end, और यहाँ से start हो रहा है तुम्हारा abdominal cavity. Now here is where all the entire abdominal organs are situated, right? Now the abdominal organs collectively, abdominal organs में stomach आ गया, intestine आ गया, large, छोटा, बड़ा, colon, वोलन, सब कुछ आ गया, spleen, liver, everything is there. All of them collectively is present in one big bag-like structure. बहुत बड़ा बैग है, वो सबके ऊपर है, and that sheath is called as peritoneum, right? Let's say for example, if you go out in the market to buy something, right? मम्मी ने लिस्ट दिया तुमको, ये सब लेके आओ, right? First you go bread वाला एक bread लिया, he'll give you a small plastic bag. You go buy some apples, 1 kg apple ले लिया, थोड़ा vegetable ले लिया. So everywhere you go, they'll give a small plastic bag. ये नहीं वारे, my mummy has given a large bag also. So what you'll do, you'll put all those 5 into one bag. So those small plastic bags are your small organs. But collectively there is a big bag which is encompassing the entire organs, which is that called as peritoneum. So now according to the diagram, primitive diagram, right? Poor diagram. But enough to know that is the kidney situated behind the peritoneum.
Yes.
So if the kidney is situated behind the peritoneum, you know that, and somebody's asked you what is the position of kidney, you'll use only one word for this. Sir, this is retroperitoneal in position. Retro means piche. It's a term which is mainly used in fashion. The retro look. बराबर ना? Retro is old fashioned. Retroperitoneal, right? So you go to a medical college, the teacher is asking what is the position of kidney, it's retroperitoneal. That's a killer statement एकदम. मतलब मुझे सब मालूम है, इसके आगे मेरे को कुछ मत पूछो. Right? So how do you define the position of kidney? It says retroperitoneal, behind the peritoneum. Close to which body wall surface? Dorsal body wall. Right? Under any circumstances, position of the organ गलत नहीं होना चाहिए, please. Right? आपने position गलत बोला, right? Come after 6 months. Fail. Each kidney of the adult human measures around 10 to 12 centimeters in length, 5 to 7 centimeters width, 2 to 3 centimeters in thickness, and the weight is around 120 grams to 170 grams. See, when you do the dimensions and weight of all the organs, right? Now you will always have a range, right? Heart का weight कितना है, liver का weight, so they all give an estimation because it differs from person to person and mainly it differs from male to female. Right now, physically males have testosterone का action होता है, तो उससे organs, muscles थोड़ा volume ज़्यादा रहता है, right now, और females में ये कम रहता है, right now. Brain. मैं कुछ नहीं बोल रहा, साइंस बोल रहा है. of the brain in males is approximately 1350 grams and in females it is 1325. थोड़ा सा कम है लेकिन चलता बहुत ज्यादा है. हाँ, but please, I have to keep the maximum population happy in this class. I can't antagonize anybody. Okay, chalo. Now towards the center, quiet please. Towards the center of the inner concave surface of the kidney. That means the kidney has two surfaces, outer and inner. The outer surface, the inner surface. So towards the inner surface we have this notch. It's a bean-shaped structure. Is that a bean-shaped structure? So this is the inner surface. So this notch is called as hilum. Also sometimes referred as hilus. So the notch, where is the notch situated? On the inner concave surface. Anything which has to enter the kidney or exit the kidney has to be through the hilum. So if the renal artery has to supply blood, it will enter through the hilum. The renal vein has to leave, hilum. The ureter has to leave, hilum. Right? So whatever enters or leaves the kidney is through the hilum. Acha. The kidney has two poles. Now this is our inference from the diagram. The kidney has two poles. So this is the lower pole of the kidney, this is the upper pole of the kidney. The upper pole of the kidney shows the presence of a gland which is called as the adrenal gland. So now we understand why it is called as adrenal. Renal is for kidney. Okay, adrenal gland. The adrenal gland is also called as the suprarenal gland because of the position. So adrenal gland का दूसरा नाम क्या है? Suprarenal gland. You're doing hormones, ना? You reached adrenal gland अभी तक? हो गया ना? Adrenocorticoids and all that. Okay. नहीं हुआ तो करेंगे. इतने में बात क्या करनी? छोड़ो. Please. So एक adrenal point है यहाँ पर. Second point is the right kidney is slightly lower than the left to accommodate the liver. No anatomical anomaly or significance of this, purely to accommodate the liver only. Right? So right kidney is slightly lower than the left. Right, we did till here. ये वाला point क्या? Hilum वाला point. ठीक है? Now this is where till your DCT is going to be in the next session. ये point था. ठीक है ना? Lecture खत्म नहीं, ऐसे नहीं बोला मैंने. Wait. Right? Because there are a lot of things which are not mentioned in the structure but would be required to study the physiology. Right? So there are some points which are remaining which we need to do them. Please. DCT याद करेगा नेक्स्ट टाइम आप लोग का. ओके. What please? Now we have ureters, bladder and urethra. So a few points about all of them so that the understanding of the entire system should be clear for us. We said the location of the kidney is near the dorsal surface, please, everybody. Okay. Now ureters, number one, they are muscular tubes. You know muscle. Muscle is three types: striated, non-striated, cardiac. These are non-striated, smooth muscle, involuntary. Now, if it is a muscle, will it have contraction, relaxation?
Yes.
So, if it is contracting, relaxing, and then moving the urine forward, would be peristalsis. So, urine moves by means of peristaltic movement. When you look at the kidney, the ureter is starting as a big funnel-like structure, and that funnel-like structure is called as renal pelvis. So starts as renal pelvis. Can you see this funnel-like structure? This is called as renal pelvis.